The call came while I was standing in the garage, staring at the oil stain beneath where her car used to park. That dark shape on the concrete had started to feel more honest than her smile lately. I was holding her wedding ring in my hand, the one she said she'd lost at work a week ago, then found in the laundry, and then conveniently forgot to wear again. My phone buzzed. It was the private investigator. He didn't say hello, just, "I think you should sit down." I didn't move. The gauge was already cold enough to numb everything I didn't want to feel. "Send it," I said. There was a pause. Not technical, human. The kind people take when they're about to push someone off a ledge. "Send it," I repeated. The file came through. A video. Grainy, flickering night vision. Her car. I recognized the shape of the seats. The dashboard air freshener I bought her in spring. The dangling cocaine. I hadn't even pressed play yet and I already knew. The thumbnail showed two heads close together in the dark. I stood there for a long time, them hovering. I thought of the way she kissed my cheek that morning, of how she had laughed at something I said, then quickly looked away. I remembered how she said, "I forgot my rings again," like it was nothing. I pressed play. The tunnel between what I wanted and what was real collapsed. I didn't feel rage, not even sorrow, just a stillness I've only ever known in hospitals and empty bedrooms. The kind of numb that tells you something inside has snapped, quietly. They weren't just kissing. That would have been almost merciful. He had one hand gripping her neck like he owned it. She laughed into his mouth. She was driving when it ended. Her makeup smeared, the music up too loud, smiling like someone who had just done something well and beautiful. The same car I'd paid off early so she'd feel safe, so she could have peace. The screen went black. I didn't. I walked into the house. Everything looked the same. Too clean, too quiet. Her coffee mug still on the counter from this morning. Her scent in the hallway. I sat down at the kitchen table and placed the ring on the surface. It looked small now, not like a symbol, but like a prop. When she got home 2 hours later, I was still sitting there. She smiled. "Hey, babe." I nodded. "Hey." She didn't notice the ring at first. Didn't notice my silence. Or maybe she did and didn't care. She poured wine. She laughed at something on her phone. She kissed the top of my head like a chore. I didn't say a word. I already knew. It started long before the video. Now that I was watching clearly, I saw all the signs. The first was the shrug. That was weeks ago. I had asked her gently, not accusing, why she wasn't wearing her rings anymore. She shrugged. "They feel tight lately." No apology. No follow-up. Just a shrug and a smile too short to be real. The second was in her car. A week later, I climbed in to grab her charger while she was inside the pharmacy. There was a used condom on the passenger side floorboard, half hidden under an old receipt. I sat frozen, not because I didn't know, but because some part of me still wanted it to be explainable. When I showed her, her face didn't even twitch. "That's not mine," she said, then laughed, like it was ridiculous. "You're the only one who drives this car," I said. She didn't answer, just said, "You must be mistaken," and walked back inside like we were done. That was the moment I stopped reacting, not out of fear, but choice. I realized then that emotion wouldn't help me. It would only feed her story, whatever story she was already preparing. That night, I sat in the dark with a legal pad, wrote down every excuse, every red flag I'd ignored. Working late, drained from girls' night, phone died. I went back months. The changes were subtle. The longer showers, the quick locked bathroom door, the way she'd started calling me Peter again instead of love or babe, like she was trying to remind herself of my name. I couldn't sleep. The next morning, I called the pie. He didn't ask why. He just said, "Do you want pictures or video?" "Both." From then on, I became a different man. Not colder, just quieter. I let her lie, let her giggle into her phone late at night and say it was her sister. Let her dress up for book club and come home smelling like a hotel hallway. I kissed her on the forehead every night like I always had. She barely noticed. She thought I didn't know, but I was already halfway gone. My body moved through the same routines, but my heart had unplugged. I started sleeping in the guest room for my back. She didn't object. I read through our bank statements, cross-referenced her calendar with her car's GPS. There were dates that didn't match, hotel charges labeled as client meetings, a nail salon that charged $200 for a massage, lies in plain sight if anyone bothered to look. She had stopped bothering to hide them. I kept everything, every receipt, every timestamp, every digital footprint. I send copies to the pie, he said. She's arrogant. That helps us. I didn't reply. I just stared at the photo he sent that morning. Her and him at a diner, hands across the table. She was laughing. He was wearing a tie I used to own. I don't remember feeling pain, just something colder than hate, a sense of duty. This wasn't about heartbreak anymore. This was preparation. She was brushing her hair when I noticed it again. That slight hum she used to do when she was happy. Except now, it sounded rehearsed, like someone playing the part of a content wife. She didn't hum when she thought I was listening, only when she assumed I wasn't paying attention. She'd started calling me Peter more often. Not hun, not baby, just my name, like a coworker or a stranger. And I noticed she never touched me unless she had to. A hand on the shoulder, a goodbye kiss so quick it felt contractual. The kind of intimacy that covers tracks instead of expressing love. One night, she was texting under the dinner table again. I saw her angle the screen away like I might peek, but I didn't need to. I already knew. It was probably him, the same man from the diner, the same one from the car, the hotel, the backseat I had detailed twice last month thinking it was just dirt from errands. I didn't ask questions anymore. Instead, I started cataloging. I took photos of everything. The jewelry she only wore on girls' nights, the restaurant receipts I never got invited to, the overdrawn joint account when she said she was cutting back. I had over 200 files on my laptop, neatly sorted. I even found a voicemail she forgot to delete. He said her name the way I used to, before everything dulled. Said he missed her, told her not to worry about Peter, that I'd never fight back. I saved that, too. I was fighting back, just not the way they expected. I moved into the guest room completely, claimed it was for sleep. Back pain. Noise. She nodded. Relieved. I didn't even take my pillow, just my laptop, my notebooks, the printed copies of her betrayal. She still made breakfast like nothing was wrong. Still asked if I wanted to join her for errands, to watch TV, to check a leaky faucet, like our marriage was some sitcom loop playing without an audience. But she had no idea I'd already hired the lawyer. When I met with her, Danielle Turner, she asked only one question. Do you have proof? I slid the flash drive across her desk like a blade. She plugged it in, watched 5 minutes of footage, then said, "We'll be fine." I asked, "Will she fight?" Danielle looked up. Not after this, I felt. Not relief. Exactly. Just clarity. Like the fog that had been sitting over me for months finally lifted. I went home. She was on the couch, wine glass in hand, scrolling. I poured myself a drink, sat beside her. "Do you love him?" I asked. She blinked, startled. "What?" I held her gaze. "Do you love him?" She didn't answer, and that silence, that was it. I set the tablet on the counter, pressed play, didn't even stay to watch her reaction. I walked upstairs, closed the door. The next day, I left my ring on the WINDOWSILL. It was a warm morning. Sunlight hit the gold just right, making it gleam one last time before it lost all meaning. It didn't hurt. It didn't burn. It just ended.